Welcome back. You're watching Holy Land Uncovered. I'm Emily Francis. Last week, our senior producer, Uri Shapira, introduced you to a special community in Israel of African Americans who believe that Tel Arad, the southern Israeli archaeological site near the Dead Sea, is in fact biblical Jerusalem. Today, he takes us on a tour in the second part of this story. This time, the group's celebrating the Jewish holiday of Sukkot in a very peculiar way.
The
Jewish holiday of Sukkot stands for values including hospitality and a respite from materialism. This small group, known as the Beth Israel community, also sees the holiday as a symbol of redemption. They decided to reenact the ancient Israelite exile from Egypt, so they wandered to the wilderness and built a tent camp.
It's definitely a tribute to the ancient way, pretty much of Abraham, of how they would go throughout the land and set up their Sukkot. This on my head is it's a fruit tree, it's a willow, and this represents our Sukkot when we're not at our Sukkot. So we wear this on our heads. Like right now, if I were to leave, I would still be in Sukkot mode.
The group decided to build their camp in front of Tel Arad, an archaeological park which they believe is the biblical Jerusalem. This year, the park is closed due to a national lockdown following the coronavirus pandemic. Hoshua Amariel, the leader of the group, protests the decision.
They gave me this document because the national park called them on me. Now, we're outside of the national park jurisdiction, but they took it upon themselves to go out of their way to call the land office on me because we're out here outside the national park territory keeping our holy day. You see what I'm saying? So this is a part of this is proof, you see what I'm saying, of the vendetta against my community and us pointing to this place as the actual Mount Zion and the real Jerusalem.
But members of the community are not giving up and continue to practice their rituals. They are one of several groups of African American Hebrew Israelites who believe they are the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel.
It's really more like family reunion, you know? It's a reunion of the house of Israel to come back to their own culture. My family in the States, they still celebrate Sukkot to this day. When they released us from the slave plantations, we began observing this feast where we reside in tents for 7 days. We call this feast the Feast of Old Timers. We celebrate this along the Mason-Dixon line. They call this like the Cincinnati River today. And we dwell in tents for 7 days, still to this day.
The battle to recognize Tel Arad as a holy place as the community continues its legal struggle against the Israel Nature and Parks Authority. Meanwhile, they continue their practice and hope one day more people will join their group, which they see as something beyond religion and faith.